Story time. What will it be? It's called story time. I made a little beat called story time. Let's watch Envyerz story time.
Did I really just do that?
Welcome to Storytime, a series where I tell you all about a Mexican struggle and about moments in my life in general. This week I'm showcasing some Gears of War Ultimate Edition gameplay, and if this video could get 50 likes, it'd be greatly appreciated, just because this is the 30th episode spectacular of my Storytime series. If you guys have been following this for a while, I started this up in February of 2014, and it's been going on for over a year now. Very thankful that you guys continue to want to hear my stories and you guys look forward to these stories that I tell you. I've said this before in other Storytime episodes. Originally, the series started off on my Envyerz account, which was my first account on YouTube where I was uploading stuff. I had like 3 episodes up, didn't have a theme for it, and I had like 10 subscribers, so that didn't really go anywhere. And then when I moved to my Envyerz account, which is this one, I started telling stories, but I didn't have a theme for it as well. I told this one story about Mexicans and PowerPoints back in high school, and I feel like for the 30th episode we should retell it, since now we have a larger audience than we did back when I first started this account. So let me know if you guys remember this story I've told over some Call of Duty gameplay over at least a year ago by now. So it was my 12th grade year in high school. I was finally a senior. That was the year of graduation, and I absolutely had no idea what I was going to be doing after high school, but that's a whole nother story for a different time. And in my senior year, I had some great classes, and thinking about the great classes I had, I can't really remember any core subject class that stood out to me that I really enjoyed, so I may not have had as many great classes as I thought I would, but my electives were fun, and that was the great part about senior year. Unfortunately, the worst class I had my senior year was my English 4 class, the last English class you have to take in high school, and it was absolutely terrible. For some odd reason, throughout these 4 years of high school, my English classes were always in the first period or second period classes. So in the morning, we would get the reading, writing out of the way in high school. And I guess that's good for me, because who wants to be writing an essay when school's about to finish, or reading a textbook when school's about to finish, when you'd rather get that out of the way in the morning. At least that's how I felt about it. So I was kind of lucky that my English classes were in the morning, but I was not lucky for my senior year to have such an awful English teacher. It wasn't that the teacher was so terribly awful, it was just that her personality was very dull, and I guess the students found that very rude for some odd reason, and they always gossip about her, and she probably heard them gossiping about her, saying, oh, she's a terrible teacher, she's terrible. Obviously, I'm using terrible because they probably used more vulgar words than terrible when describing her. And I knew a few people in that class, but unfortunately I didn't know them quite well enough to be in their quote-unquote clique, because I had friends in that class, but they had better friends in that class, so they wouldn't really, talk to me. And plus, we had seating arrangements in high school. 12th grade, having seating arrangements. It seems kind of funny to have seating arrangements, especially now in college, where you can just sit wherever you want. And what makes it worse is that the majority of the friends I knew in this class, they were all getting out of this class saying, oh, I don't want to be in this class anymore. I'm going to change my schedule. And a lot of the kids, a lot of the students, and some of my friends in this class changed their schedule. Like, this was an ongoing thing throughout the year. People wanted to get out of that class because they just hated the teacher so much. And where the Mexicans and PowerPoints come into play in this story time is that I believe it was like our second big group project where the teacher assigns you people that I think you fill out a survey, and then whoever's more compatible, they put you in a group together. And it was completely awkward, and I felt like I didn't match up with any of these people in my said group. So at the start, it was me, some girl that didn't speak an ounce of English, some pothead dude that thought school was pointless, and then some other girl who, she's like, oh, I'm too pretty. I'm pretty, I'll put makeup on. Oh, I don't want to talk to you guys. So my group was just the bunch of misfits. I felt like the Detroit Pistons almost, like just a bunch of random pieces put together in a group and trying to make something work. There was like 6 groups, and I look around the classroom, they're like all laughing and whatever, and then we're just sitting here in silence like, okay. Yeah, and the pothead was like, oh, I don't want to be here. I'm changing my class. And that's exactly what the pothead did. So he changed his class first. And that was a time around when everyone wanted to get out of this class because they hated it so much. So the pothead guy was the first guy to leave our group. So we were down to 3 members already. And then the girl with a bunch of makeup on, thinking that she's too cool to talk to, she's like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm probably going to get my schedule changed as well. And then she had to tell the teacher, like, I'm going to get out of here as well. I don't want to be here anymore. And then my teacher made a huge deal about it. She called our group outside and be like, all right, listen, there's only going to be 2 of you guys left in this group. Excuse me, ignorant, stuck-up makeup lady, what are you going to be doing for this group? And she's like, well, I think I could help him. I guess I could probably help him a little bit before I get my schedule changed. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then my teacher says, are you guys going to be, I don't know why I'm doing the stuck-up girl voice. Are you guys going to be able to, work this project out on yourself? You two? She was talking to me and the Mexican partner that didn't speak a word of English. She was saying that, this is going to be a major part of your grade, and I feel like this is an overwhelming task for just 2 people. So are you guys going to be able to handle this project on your own? And I was like, no, I'm not. You know why I'm not? Because I'm going to have to do all the work. I feel like I'm LeBron James, and my Mexican partner is Kevin Love in the finals. She was just sitting on the bench the whole time injured. I didn't say it in those contexts, but I sure definitely felt like saying it. I basically was saying it's going to be a lot of work, but we'll try our best. And stupid me, I should have never even said we'll try our best, because maybe she would have gave us another partner or something along those lines, but she never did. She thought that we would be able to do this major project on our own without the 2 members assigned to this group. So now, while everyone else has 4 team members in their group, we only have 2. So that was absolutely wonderful. The project was to write an 8-page essay and 2 works-cited pages for some, I forgot what the topic was, but it was basically a 10-page essay, 8-page if you don't count the works cited, to write about, partying or college or something along those lines. We had to write an 8-page essay. I was going to do half the essay. My Mexican partner was going to do the other half of the essay, and we were supposed to combine the essays together to make the 8 pages. And that's what my teacher suggested. And then when we did that, I had to revise basically all of her edits, because the way she was typing in like incorrect English, because she's Mexican, and I guess a Mexican typing in English is very hard, especially for 4 pages. So I had to do a lot of revising for her part, and even at the end, the whole 8-page essay didn't make any sense. It was supposed to be an MLA format, and it just was an awful essay. But we also had to do a PowerPoint, so I was stressing out and having to do everything basically by myself, because I said, you know what, just write your essay, I'll take care of the PowerPoint. So I took care of the PowerPoint, I took care of my part of the essay, I combined the essays, I basically rewrote her whole essay to make it make sense to reach my part of the essay as well. And that was one of the most stressful days of my high school career. Come time to present my PowerPoint and turn in the essays, I turned in my essay, we had to dress up all nice. I gave my teacher the right PowerPoint. I brought my USB stick up and said, here you go, click on that file right there. That's the finished PowerPoint. I had a few other PowerPoints on my USB drive, and I said, that one, click that one. She hasn't clicked that one. I end up finding out that she clicks the incomplete PowerPoint that I had on the subject. And when we were up there about to present, I was like, oh, this is the wrong PowerPoint. Is there any chance, before we start, is there any chance that we could use my new PowerPoint? I'll go over to your desk and show you. She was like, no, you already started. Just finish what we have. And at that point, I was so mad. I was like, man, if I wasn't such a nice guy, and if I didn't care about school or my grades, I would walk out of this classroom and go hide somewhere where no one could ever find me again, because this class was absolutely ridiculous. No wonder why the teachers or the students hated this class, because I found out easily that, oh my goodness, no words can describe this lady. But we ended up giving the presentation. We had like 2 slides missing, and we had a few points not even there on the slides that we did have. So it was a complete catastrophe. At the end of the PowerPoint, I got my USB, sat down, and I just said to myself, glad that's over, and I hope to God that I never have to team up with this Mexican girl ever again and give a PowerPoint with her. Once everyone finished their PowerPoints, the teacher gave out a slip saying, write down what you thought about your group, who helped you out the most. Be honest. She said to be honest, so she gave me the paper. We passed down the paper. There was a little survey answer saying, how much did your partner help you? Put the name of your partner. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did they help? I put a big fat 1. I wasn't I wasn't ballsy enough to do a 0. I just put a 1 instead. And when I finished writing the survey and complaining about how terrible my partner was and how I felt like I deserved a better grade because I had no team, I gave it to the teacher. I guess she saw what I wrote, and she just looked at me, not expecting me to write anything negative or bad about my partner. She just looked at me she stopped walking a little bit because she was coming by the desk. She picked up the paper. She just stopped, looked at the paper, looked at me, put it back in the pile, and then started walking away. So it felt good to get that off my chest. Ever since that point, never had to work with that Mexican girl ever again in a group in that class, and haven't seen her since high school. So my life's been going great. It's been going absolutely great. I just hated that class so much, and that was the worst memory, I think, in a class. Worst group in a class, worst just class in high school. And I'm thankful all that's over. When she handed back the paper, remember that paper that we had to write? We got a 90 on it. A 90 on a paper that wasn't even correctly in MLA format and didn't really even make sense. We got a 90 on that said paper, and we got a 40 on the PowerPoint. So I guess the teacher, I don't know if high school teachers read essays or she just felt bad for us, so she gave us a 90 on the essay and a 40 on the PowerPoint. We ended up getting a low B, and I was just happy we ended up passing, and I was grateful it was finally over, like I've been saying. So if you guys have any terrible partner stories in school, please let me know, because I doubt that I'm not the only one. With that said, I've been rambling on for quite some time in this story time. If you could please leave a like, share this with anybody you know, it'd be greatly appreciated. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.